Hi there, SixofQueens here, and learning still sucks. So between last lesson and this lesson, I did end up working through the review on page 80 for this portion of Chapter 5 of Bastien Piano for Adults. And I had a few choice things to say about this review last time, and since I've had a chance to look through it, I have one criticism that I would like to retract. I actually retracted it kind of in the video. I didn't realize it until after I started editing it. But I have one that I am not going to retract, and I'm going to actually kind of elaborate on a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time on it, on why I had the issue, since it's kind of emblematic of a problem that I come across in this booklet a lot. So the one that I want to retract is I claimed that I had not learned the G7 chord when it was asking me up here to name these chords. I remembered the D7 chord, which I had learned in this chapter. However, I forgot that I had learned the G7 chord back in chapter 3. In fact, I think that I have forgotten that I've learned the G7 chord once already. So now this is twice. So it's not a problem with the book. That's 100% on me. Own up to it. However, what I do have an issue with was a three-part question that they asked twice, which was, what is the tonic, subdominant, and dominant note of the key of C and the key of G? I went looking back through the chapter, could not find the information. After I turned the camera off, I went back through the chapters again more carefully and couldn't find the information. So I had to go to the glossary to look up what those definitions were, to find out that the tonic, subdominant, and dominant notes are features of a key when the way that they were presented in the book, in the chapters when it was first introduced, it didn't make it seem like it was a feature of the keys, but rather a feature of the chords that the particular notes were in. So it wasn't until I had looked up the definition in the glossary and then gone online to double check and kind of build upon the single sentence definitions that it gave for me to realize that the tonic note, subdominant note, and dominant note are degrees 1, 4, and 5 of, as far as I understood, any key. So you move to a key, and whatever is your kind of root note of that key, that's going to be your tonic, and that is degree 1. And there's degree 2 and 3. I didn't look up what the names of those were. But then the subdominant is degree 4, and that is going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 4 away, so it's going to be a fourth interval away from your tonic, and then your dominant is going to be 5th away, because that's how many fingers that you have. So makes sense. But it wasn't until I actually knew the definition already and could go back in the chapters and look at where the ideas were introduced that I could understand, oh, well, they presented these two pieces of information disparately, and it was only ever brought up in the context of a note existing within a chord. At no point that I could see did it talk about the structure of a key and what are some key features of structures of keys, like the degrees of the keys. It talks about degrees of keys, but it does not really lay it out. And for an instructive booklet for beginners, it really needs to lay it out. It really needs to spell these things out so that I'm not having to go and find external material to supplement it almost every time. Because it presents material as though it's presenting it to a person who already knows the information and are going to be able to put disparate ideas together. Because the ideas that let one know what the tonic, subdominant, and dominant notes are within a key are there, but they're not presented together, and they are presented within another packet of information, chords, and each time an individual chord, and talking about a note within a chord, that it, to a beginner, could, as it clearly did for me, seem like it is talking about something that you call these notes within a chord structure, not just what it's called within the key. And this book has done things like that on multiple occasions, and it's really irritating, since it feels like this was designed requiring an instructor, or they designed it with an intent to force people to find information outside, which I don't feel is a good way to structure it. Because even though I'm eventually gaining the information, it's this kind of difficulty, this kind of road bump, that can make people who are a little more prone to being kind of quitty at the start to, hope they're not drilling into my door, quitty at the start to kind of throw in the towel in frustration, especially if they've already had a little bit of an outburst at the start of a session. But that's all I wanted to clear up about that, and more just make a record of it. And maybe if anyone's watching this back sometime in the future, they might either recognize this error and this problem that they might have been having themselves, yourself, or maybe you can watch this and get down in the comments and write, you're a fucking dumbass. Either way, it's engagement, and I'll take it. But not going to stick around on there, and not going to yab on any longer, since I have another piece to get to, since I successfully, psychologically, closed the chapter on, not the chapter, but on Oh Susanna with the work that I did on Monday. And I'm very glad that I did that. I almost didn't. You can tell clearly I kind of slapdash threw myself in here at the last minute and gave it a shot. I'm glad that I did. I have a new piece in front of me now, and still, achingly close to the end of this chapter. Got this piece, one more piece, and a challenge piece, along with 2 short technic exercises, which traditionally have become my warm-up pieces. So these will replace Musette after I get to it. But speaking of Musette, it's been a little while, so I think it's time for me to get reacquainted with that lovely little ditty by starting off with a little bit of nice warm-up. Again, I don't even need to turn to it, because I just remember it. I say before I start playing it and potentially embarrassing myself. There we go. Oh. Hey, first 2 times. Probably a good sign that it actually is time for me to start retiring that song. So, yeah, as short as that was, I'm going to count it as a warm-up. Especially because while I'm starting on this new piece, I haven't even started writing in the notes yet. So I'm going to do that. I've started to pick back up during my breaks at work on going over note flashcards, musical note flashcards on an app that I have on my phone. There's plenty of them. I'm not going to say the one that I have, and there's plenty. You can find one. It'll work. Because it's one of the areas that I've let really slip, and I let it slip after having not even honestly developed it that strong to begin with. So working on that, going to try and get that more proficient and up so that in future, hopefully not too far in future, I won't necessarily have to take this time to write the notes out, although it can be helpful for, things like making sure that I'm catching. Okay, never mind. I was going to say that I'm catching G's or catching F's in G, but funny thing about this song is that it's not in G. It doesn't have the sharp sign on F, so I know it's not G. So things to look out for. But I don't know if this is going to take the entire rest of the session or not. I should have started the timer already. I didn't. Oh well. Take a couple of minutes to do this. So if you don't want to watch that, pop down into the description or maybe along the time bar. I don't know the official name for it. Timeline. Along the timeline. You can find the spot to skip to when I actually done with this. Turn that off. Okay. C, E, F. No, that's E. Yeah, it's E. E, D, E, G, E. That is C, C, E, G. So that is a C chord. That is a G chord. No. No? Is that the... Yeah, whatever. I got it. That is D, C, D, C. Break the tie right there. E, D, E, G, E, D. A lot of just C's and D's and E's and G's. F. Finally an F. D, G. Yeah, because F is C. Oh no, that's in G. So this is in C. I'm gonna want to be here, right? Yeah. So that's C, F, E. C, F, A. C, F, A. E, D, C, G. A lot of ties in this. At 92, so it's not too fast. That's E, where that's G. That's D, whereas that is F. And C, whereas that is C. E. G. B. G, yeah, G, B. A. Here we go. Now we're starting to get into some more notes. A, B, D, hitting the high D. A, B, C, G, C, G, B, C, D, C, B, A. That is, I think that's D, C, B, A, yeah. D, C, B, A. D, C, A. G, and that is G, B, D. Okay. So quite a bit of moving hands and fingers around. And not a lot of guidance with finger numbers. So this is one where I'm going to have to go ahead and just work out what hand placement seems best for me. But it does seem like it's kind of broken up where during part of it, I'm going to want to have my hands in placements for C. And then I'm going to want to switch them up to a G. Which is going to be interesting. Do I want middle C? No, not really. No. Clearly wants this. And then I might be able to do that. All right. Start flicking this fucker out. One line at a time. But somewhere in the middle. All right. C, E, D, E. C, E, D, D. Oh, wrong end. C, E, D, E, G. That's G7, right? DCB, yeah. Okay. Ooh, okay, yeah, this is fun, but it's essentially, I'm gonna write this in because it seems that it is, sorry. Oh, unplug this, did I? Haha, no. So it seems that the first part is going to be best to do in C position. And then after this double bar, is that a double bar? I'm going to have to relook up some of this notation. See how much of this I'm having to repeat. But from this point on, it is switched to G hand position. So also this fine and the capo al fine, I have to double check on the notations for that, as well as Oh, okay, it does actually basically make that suggestion already by putting just where 1 is supposed to be. R1 for each of these. All right, I'm going to have to go through this line by line. Oh, stupid. That's not a staccato dot. That's a hold an extra half of a indicated note dot. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 1, 2, 3, E and E, D, G. All right. All right. Gonna be tough. Not entirely indecipherable as long as I make sure that I actually understand what some of this notation means when, once again, it gave a pretty wishy-washy definition of it that I could easily take multiple ways without feeling like I'm kind of going out of my way to misunderstand something as much as I possibly can. So, yet another piece. I'm going to have to do some outside research just to make sure that I've actually got it. But that's going to be for after the camera goes off. So, If you'd like to see what it took for me to get this far, then you can either click up here or the link in the description below to catch the entire series from the very beginning. And if you'd like to find out where I go from here, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you know when I upload next. Let's see what, if anything, I learn next time.